So next, we have an out-of-the-box thinker, a visionary leader, known for his innovative interventions, including the initiatives like Compassionate Kerala, Unnati, our collector bro. So discussing AI for effective governance, opportunities and strategies is Prasanth Nair IAS, Special Secretary to the Agriculture Department, Government of Kerala.
Thank you. Thank you. I don't have any presentation. I'll just okay. I'm supposed to speak from the government perspective, and I'm sure you must have had very enlightening discussions on uh, how AI is changing business, how opportunities are abound, and all that stuff. So, from the government perspective, uh, there are certain concerns. Obviously, you must be aware of that. But I would like to focus on the business opportunities in government or associated with government, because I understand there are lots of people here who would be interested in that. And what you should be careful while approaching the government for business, leveraging AI. First and foremost, see, the government, inside the government, we are supposed to be very transparent. We are supposed to be very fair, and we should be giving an equal opportunity to everyone, right? So when you create, it's okay. Yeah. So when you create a solution inside the government, we also have an obligation to make it public. How does this algorithm work? So that's a very strange way to do business, right? In the private sector, you don't have to explain this to anyone. Now, see, look at the opportunities. We have already kind of identified more than 135 use cases, which could be easily done in Kerala. And there are lots of use cases being thrown up everywhere. If you just Google up, you will find so many use cases being thrown up. And if you actually look at how much of that has been translated into actual projects, it's very little, because it hits a roadblock at various places. To understand why this happens, you should know how government functions. See, government is created by the constitution. Then you have the parliament creating laws. Every activity of the government is regulated by some legislation or the other. And any activity, any exercise of power is through an authority that has been bestowed through an act. To make it understand quite easily, I'll refer to the AI cameras. Everyone understands AI camera. Okay. Now, I have an AI camera here, and the camera is observing you in the road, of course, and suddenly you commit a crime. It could be overspeeding or whatever, and the AI camera captures it, and now you get a notice. Now, under the Act, under the Motor Vehicles Act, who is the authorized authority to detect a crime, to impose a fine, or to take action? This is important for government. This is paramount. For judiciary, that is paramount. Is this AI tool a human being? No, of course not. It doesn't have an identity. Anyway, it's not empowered. Who is the person who is going to make use of the AI tool and then take it ahead into the legal terrain? How is the action being converted into a legal thing? That is very important. Is there a mind application happening in between? And how elaborate is that application of mind? Application of mind, see, when we say application of mind, it doesn't mean that you just pass it through somebody and someone signs it. No. Legally, application of mind means application of mind proper. So can an AI camera detect it and decide everything for you? Legally, it cannot. Legally, it cannot. This is a very simple example, but you take this example and apply it in every AI solution which you want to implement in government. You'll find that only a co-pilot kind of a thing will work. Okay, you can't completely automate most of the things. You can be a co-pilot and help the concerned person to take a decision. But of course, we can reduce the number of people who are involved in the process. For example, you have the secretariat from where I come right now. It's a huge building, and lots of people are sitting there. And what do we actually do? We take decisions. We, in the sense, the government takes decisions. So you have the rules of business there. You have the secretariat manual. Now these things have been designed to help the government take a decision. Now, who is government? Government, again, we should know the legality involved. Government is the governor, right? And on behalf of the governor, who is the cabinet, and then on behalf of the cabinet, but while issuing an order, we'll say on behalf of the governor, the secretary will issue a GO or a government order. And to help the secretary issue this, you have to have a elaborate army below to put up the file, give clarification, blah blah blah, all that stuff, and finally he takes a decision. Now imagine a scenario where you could easily replace the entire army below, because decisions are made on the basis of existing rules, previous government orders, parliamentary enactments, if there is a assembly enactment, that also, and then the subordinate legislations, rules, whatever, and precedents, and the High Court or Supreme Court judgments. You have all this data available. Now, if this whole thing is being fed into a machine, and if the machine is able to arrive at a very sane advice, why do I need all this entire army there? The secretary, who is legally bound to issue the GO, only needs to exist. The rest of the people can take VRS or whatever. So the job becomes easy. It actually becomes faster and becomes very fair also, because in a government office the usual thing is there is no objectivity. You show me the face and I'll show you the rule, they say. But now you have a system where you can actually make it very objective. It's very exciting. Now you must be aware that in many other countries, law or the dispensation of justice is being slowly taken over using AI and all that stuff. But again, you have these issues, application of mind and all those things are again being discussed. But let's look at the low-hanging fruits. There are lots of low-hanging fruits in the government sector. Instead of trying to get into regulatory stuff, why do we get obsessed with regulatory stuff? I really don't know, because we want to control crime, we want to capture thieves, we want to prevent overspeeding. But there's so many other positive things to be done using AI tools. It's not only AI cameras, it's not just crime detection or punishment and all this stuff. There are lots of other things that are possible where there is genuine business as well, where you can get involved with the government without getting involved with the government. Things that the government should be doing, which you can act as an interface with the public and still make money out of it also. Those are the possibilities which should be interesting for you, in my opinion. For instance, there are so many freebies given by the government, so many, I won't say freebies, but there are certain policy initiatives in certain sectors where we try to push, where we try to support. For example, now I am in farming, agriculture. So in the agriculture sector across the world, we give subsidies, we give lots of support systems for helping the farmers, because farming per se needs to be subsidized. That's not a debatable point any longer. So how do we target this? How to make this available to the public? These are questions which we always discuss internally. And the common sense logical thing is, okay, let's look for an AI solution which makes the government machinery more efficient in giving these services. But think of it from the other side. All the government decisions, the schemes, the policies, whatever benefit we are going to give, these are all available on the public domain actually. Everything is there on the public domain. And in this era of right to information, every data, virtually every data held by the government can be accessed by you. To do anything with AI, you need data, right? And the usual complaint or the usual grouse which everyone says is, to work with government, we don't get any data. And because you assume that you have to work with the government on this side, you necessarily don't have to do that to do business. You can just take the data that is already available and convert it into business. That possibility is right there before you. For example, in agri, for instance, if a farmer is going to apply for a particular scheme, or he wants to start farming, okay, you just want to start farming. Suddenly you hear that farming is profitable. It is profitable, by the way. Anyone who believes that farming is not profitable? It's hugely profitable, okay? And it's totally exempted from income tax under section 10(1). Okay. Now you want to get into farming after hearing that it's profitable. You can make a lot of money without paying tax, but you don't know how to do it. What are the schemes? And you can ask my regular agriculture officer, who, as usual, will not be very helpful. So then what do? There is a business opportunity there. Suppose you are aware of all the orders, schemes, and all those things that are already available on the internet. Actually, most of these things are available on the internet. Um, and the government orders, unfortunately, most of them are in PDF and strange kind of PDF which we generate, which usually can't be even, the systems can't capture it. You'll not be able to read it. If you can convert it, if you just the same PDF, if you convert it into image, JPEG, AI usually reads it. Okay. So once you get the entire data related to agriculture, the schemes, possibilities, and all that stuff, you can very easily start advising the public. For a fee, you can actually do what the government should have been doing, because we are not able to do it at this level. We are here, and not even here, we are actually underground. So the gap can be easily filled by a service provider. This doesn't require any legal support for you. This doesn't require any sort of data exchange with the government. Simple, it's there, right there. But have you seen any such solution so far? It actually surprises me why it isn't there. Because the conventional thought process of businessmen, I found to be either be on this side, get the data easily from inside the government, and you make a solution for the government. That will take a lot of time. At least in India, it will take a lot of time, because see, we have a lot of paranoia when it comes to data. Even if the data is to be placed on the public domain, we are very worried about it. We'll think a lot, we'll write a lot. I say that because we don't even share data between departments. So that is our situation. So don't think of doing some business after getting data from us. By then, this AI revolution and everything will be over. We'll be in some other, era. It will be too late for you. That's one thing. Second thing, what I would like to say, see, um, in government, we are also obsessed about procurement norms, systems, transparency, and all that. So when you think of a solution uh, in collaboration with the government, come through the startup route, obviously, because there we have some procurement leeway. Otherwise, we have to go through a elaborate, tendering process and all that. And again, unfortunately, when you come up with a new solution, you don't have a comparable solution elsewhere. So how do we tender? So you're stuck there. Someone might tell you, okay, wonderful idea, come on, let's do it. You might go and meet a very senior politician and all that. He'll say, "Ippa sheriyagi tharam." But then the problem is, uh, finally, when it comes to the finance, there we'll take a stand that, oh, where is the tender? Where is the competitive bid? What happened to that? And suddenly we'll say, oh my God, we only have this product. You don't have a comparable product. The file will be there. So don't be very unique if you actually want to come into government. You should be very ordinary. You should be comparable. But if you have a very unique idea, very interesting idea, wonderful idea, then I'm sure you must be aware. They must be aware of the startup procurement norms. No, Otherwise, I strongly suggest please check out those government orders, because up to 50 lakhs, if I am not mistaken, we have a process for direct procurement. Um, yeah, so basically procurement and being fair with the system and being also, proactively sharing information. These are all things which we are bound with. We can't make any exemption for any of this. And speaking of uh, use cases, there are so many use cases which can very easily transform the lives of the people here right now. Even a simple chatbot can change lives. We tried something with Mulan, actually, chatbots for helping the SC/ST children for their education, because our officers were not aware. Leave alone the officers, even most of the government schemes are so complicated, and we make it so elaborate that nobody is able to give you the right answer. The only hope is AI. So you feed all the data, you feed all this information, the government orders and all those things which regulate these things. They'll be able to give you a very clear and specific answer from which you can get you can get a business out of it. You always have the opportunity of making business from this. I think instead of going on and on about this, maybe if there are certain points which you would like to get clarifications with regard to procurement, or not just procurement, but doing business on this AI thing with government. If there are those kind of queries or anything, or any suggestions which you would like to say, I think I'll be more than happy to take those, because um, you guys already know what AI is. You know what is possible. It does make sense for me to unnecessarily ranting on and on about the same thing. So maybe we'll have a 5-10 minutes for that.
So one
Oh.
question is whenever we talk about data available in the public domain, the
Hmm.
authenticity or the correctness of the data is another problem. If you're reading it with the wrong information, then it will also give the wrong information out. So isn't there a way, like there were discussions that were happening earlier, like creating a data warehouse and then having some data governance and open it for people to build products. Just for example, KSRTC, like we have that timing and schedule and all those data that is if it is available, that can shift, but some data available and some data is available for the public. The students of the general public can build application based on their interest, and government can promote the best application out of that instead of going and investing on a product and then procuring it.
Fully agree. Fully agree. In fact, what I believe is that we should have a basic um, uh, state of the art kind of a prototype software with us. I'll say, think of IRCTC. That's classic. Okay, IRCTC has a own little beautiful useless piece of thing, but then they give the API. They give the API to everyone so that everyone is able to make use of it. So I think that is the way we need to. We will have to do something.
Like
Uh,
one minimum
one minimal thing in house we'll have to do. So in farming, we are planning something actually. We are thinking of taking up a bit of aggressive farming in all the fallow lands. Okay, by getting contract farmers who know how farming is done. So we get the farmers on one side, we get the inventory of fallow land, uh, and then we also get the buyers, big buyers, ITC, Wipro, and all of them the other side. Now this is a platform which should be ideal for doing a lot of business. But I'm very sure that if I do that, this platform, it's going to be utter failure. So I'll do a minimal thing like a IRCTC thing, and I'm looking forward to um, startups and big companies who will be able to add value with the available data that I'm willing to share through the API. Uh, yeah, but as you said, having a repository would be a great idea, but I don't see that happening any sooner, because as I told earlier, we have a lot of problems. Interdepartmental sharing of data itself is an issue. Um, I see AI solving it at some point of time. There are certain reports and all under consideration of the government. Let's see how it goes. Yes, please. Mic. Yes, please.
Yeah, I have two things to mention. First thing is that you can reach out to an external source like an AI expert to solve the solutions. But what you can do is you can incorporate AI within your department. The role of AI is not to take away jobs from you. The role of AI is that if you have like agriculture department, AI can take away 80% of the workload that you have, and the 20% of space that you get. You can use the rest of the space
Obviously,
to
yeah,
like
obviously.
take
See,
better decisions. Like you have a peace of
absolutely,
mind for that.
absolutely,
That is why
absolutely.
AI is good. AI takes away 80% of the manual load, so you can work smarter.
18 or light even goes higher because in government, uh, I'll say even 99% is repetitive job, repetitive with a predictable pattern. We go by precedence. So repetitiveness, predictable pattern means what? It is ideal for AI. That's why I said you only need someone to legally sign it off, the secretary or the minister, whoever is the government, and that whatever is below, we can actually say Tata bye bye, which is actually possible. When I say Tata bye bye, that doesn't mean that you're going to fire them. See, what lacks in government is the human face, that connection with the public. When you free the people or the staff from this regular mundane kind of stuff, they can be deployed for better things. They can be deployed for better things where you have that human connect coming through. I'll get more time so that I can probably interact with the public more, isn't it? That's how it works. So the mundane, repetitive things have to go out, and I fully agree that that's how it's going to work. Mm.
Even when like you get an external support or service from a service provider, it should be in a way that the main problem is the job saver. People fear AI. Okay, AI is like the computer revolution is happening. Like when computer came in, like people are all scared that they will lose it.
Let me break your notion. We have already had, I think by now, more than 100 trainings inside government for AI. Mm. I'm happy that it was in my department that we started off the first AI training. My staff, they were super happy because things which they used to otherwise take not just hours but weeks, they were able to do it in a matter of few seconds. For example, when you have a major presentation to be done before the central government, this PPT preparation, all that stuff. Now we have so many tools using which you can make the PowerPoint presentation beautifully. Actually, it's quite impressive. So my staff, who otherwise were struggling with it, even language, for instance, drafting has improved. The kind of things my staff they're able to do right now with an array of tools, actually all the AI tools that are available. And see, when we were discussing or planning the training you know uh, process, the initial objections was not the job going and all that. They were just worried about data. We are always obsessed with data. So then we told her, see, boss, there is no data involved in this at all. The letter which you are going to send or the PPT which you are going to make, that is available to the public under Right to Information Act. You see this as a proactive exposure. Don't get worried about data. And once we had this first round of training, uh, the staff, they were so happy with it. Actually, they realized that it is increasing their productivity. They are getting more time, and they were also becoming better human beings. I could actually vouch for that. When you get more free time, when your mind is more not cluttered, you become better human beings as well, right? Yes.
One more thing,
Yeah, please.
like with the public data which I have available from Kaggle or any other open source, like we can do 100 different AI use cases for like just for the agriculture department.
Please, I'll be more than happy to have that. I'll
I'm
be
just
really
suggesting
happy.
ideas and use cases, but in reality, I don't know how much it is feasible. But let's take it up.
Actually, creating use cases also. Sometimes we do a very top-heavy kind of analysis of use cases. We need to temper it down with the reality in the ground also. That's there. But when you interact with the department, we'll probably solve that out. But I'll be happy to have those. Yes. Okay, I think I'll be around here for some more time, and if there is anything else further to be discussed, I'll be here. But I hope that this kind of program actually ignites at least a few of you to take some really interesting case laws to use cases to happen in the government. I'll be more than happy to receive these use cases that have been suggested. Already we have a few in the agree in the report which has been already submitted, but I'm more than happy to have more. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you so much. By a visionary leader, I really meant it. I remember he consolidating the AI interventions possible in each of the departments, actually. So, as we always say, opportunities for startups in the government is like huge. Thank you so much.